Hello and welcome to another edition of Straight from the Training Ground, the podcast where we share our love for the beautiful game and the people out there doing our beautiful things. And man, we got one of those beautiful people back, our good
Oh,
friend Michael Dublis. Mike D, how you been?
bro, I am so good. It's so good to hear your voice and see you, Jay. Thank you for having me on, brother.
Well, we've both been busy, but we're glad to have you back. Michael Dublis, if you are unaware or haven't watched any of our channel or any social media, is the founder and creator of the Soccer Rebellion, an amazing street soccer movement in Grand Rapids, Michigan. And he is the co-founder of something very unique, a unique building called the UnderGround in Grand Rapids. And that's what we're here to talk about. So, Mike D, first off, what is the UnderGround?
So the underground is designed to be a cultural hub for soccer players. So we didn't want to just build two courts, rent them out, and kind of do the cookie cutter approach and what we were doing. Everything that we're doing when it comes to the Soccer Rebellion, and this is definitely an extension of the Soccer Rebellion. But I did find this with my partner Salvatore Velarde, who found the space and then brought me in to say, "Hey, your connection to the soccer community, what you guys have innovated with that, we would love for you to be, the creation behind what happens in the underground." And so I had to jump on that chance to be able to give street soccer an official home. So what we wanted to design was a cultural hub for players to be able to develop, to be able to connect, to be able to create community, to create culture. So by all means necessary, you can't do that in the cookie cutter approach because this isn't a business model. This is designed to be a community amphitheater for a place for players to be on a platform, to get noticed, to be able to develop their own game in their image, and connect with the players in their community and really take the game back in their own hands. So from a soccer rebellion standpoint, this stands up against the governing parties that we do have out there. That is almost like if you play for this club, they're going to dictate how you play all year round, where you're going to play, what league you're going to play in, where this is saying, no, you can train outside of all that. You can develop on your own, and here's a space for you. So within the space, we have two 4v4 courts on sports courts. So it's a little different than futsal. You can play 5v5. If you're younger, the space is just a bit tight as the fields are 30 by 25 yards. So there, it's a little bit smaller, caged in all around with boards, but futsal size goals. Then on the other side, what we have is where we have our cultural appreciation and everything designed to create your own player and to connect with the players. So outside of the courts, what we have is we have our viewing areas that are cut through cement to be able to see the games because we are in an old warehouse off of Burton and Clyde Park in Grand Rapids. So if you know anything about Grand Rapids, it's in a very Hispanic affluent or fluent, not affluent. I didn't mean to say anything about money, but fluent neighborhood. So it's a staple in a lot of ways for Grand Rapids and what's going on in this area. But on that other side, we have a barber set up. We have graffiti artists. We have a cafe. We have two 80-inch TVs so you can watch the game. You can do watch parties, and then you have cocktail tables set up, and then you have your cafe. And then on the other side of that, that's fenced in, we have our training facility, which includes a boxing ring, a boxing area. We have weight training. So we have basically a big rig, squat racks, leg press, treadmills, bikes, free weights, and then pushes and anything that when you think of CrossFit is basically what we have in an open turf area. And then within that, we have what we designed called training pods, which are basically 4 walls around you when you're in this probably 10-yard by 15-yard area to be able to do passing and receiving drills by yourself. So within this area, everything is designed to help the player. The reason that we have boxing is I have a great friend in Edwin Anderson that has been on the show before. That's one of the street artists, also has boxing. He's played soccer as well. Boxing for me helped me recover from my knee injuries, from a stance of pivoting and turning on your knees, and then also getting the quick feet back. It's great for footwork. And it's also what I thought that it helped me from individual standpoint was mental toughness because of how grueling the training is. And then it helped me with awareness and being around what's going on around you. So being able to kind of slow down that time in quick moments, I think was very beneficial for a player. So there's a lot of crossover in my opinion between the two that can help maybe the sports. And I think from a therapeutic standpoint, I think it's also very good to go hit a bag. So we wanted to mingle those things together. So that's what we have going on. And then the whole space in itself is muraled and graffitied up to be able to inspire passion and creativity within the space. So this is a cultural hub. We don't want to call it a soccer facility. We don't want to call it a gym, because if you want to come and play pickup and hang out, watch TV, connect with people, grab a coffee, go work out, this is your spot for you. Our programming is designed to be the anti kind of what's going on in the facility. So it's not necessarily just running leagues. We actually pride ourselves in being able to promote pickup every day, by congregating the people that don't want to pay the $900 for a league, that can now pick and choose the days that they want to come in and pay $5, or for a membership, $30 a month, and be able to play pickup and work out whenever they like. So still having that mission of accessibility and equality at the forefront of what we're doing. In the 3 months that we've been open, you know, it's been very exciting to see what's happening, and the players in this area are starting to gravitate towards it and make it their home. And, you know, and part of that energy is, you know, as a player, them seeing something that is dedicated to them and feeling welcoming as a soccer player, and knowing that the space is developed for their lifestyle, I think goes a long way. And Jay, I guess in your opinion, like something like this, like we don't see it often.
No, absolutely. I was going to say I love it, and you had me at warehouse and cages.
No doubt.
Absolutely, I
You
love
know,
it. I love the idea, and honestly, we'll talk about this later, maybe later on. But we need more of that. We need
yes,
more of that. You're basically, from what I understand, taking what you and I grew up with when we used to be outside and doing these
yes,
things on our
right,
own, and you're just creating a space for kids and young people now, and adults, but to do that in an environment. You're putting it out there for them, and now they can just go do it. Like you said, you can go in one of those pods, and when I grew up, like you, just kicking it against a wall,
right.
you go to a place like that, and now it's a vibe. So I love it.
Yeah,
And
it's fascinating, man. As I see this grow, like the other part that's happening that I guess we didn't necessarily anticipate is parents. So we are rented out 5 to 8 by Ole Futsal Club, right? So
okay.
and it's a youth futsal club here, very good. Fabian Rodriguez is notorious for what he's done to the futsal culture in Grand Rapids. He's worked with the national team and things of that nature. He's very good at what he does, and his club is very successful here as well. But it is the likes of probably U8 to U19 that come in. So when the parents have drop off during the winter months, especially up here in the north and in the Midwest, when the weather is shoddy, parents, I think typically what you're used to is parents dropping off and coming back to pick up. Because of our facility being so nurturing to be able to entertain, to educate, we want it to be a hangout spot in a lot of ways. I don't know a better way to say that.
Yeah.
Parents are now sticking around. We've seen parents stick around and now get haircuts. Parents start
Yeah.
working out while their kids are doing that. And that time that we're allotted with them has allowed us to have the conversations about what's going on in the youth soccer world. And what I am finding out is there is a lot of disgruntled parents out there about, it's kind of the exposure of the curtain of Oz. Like people are kind of seeing what's really going on. And it feels like they're being taken, especially because we're able to provide this at such a low cost in comparison to what a club cost. And
Yeah.
so, for instance, we ran a youth tournament, which filled up. It was $50 per team. So you had about 7 to 8 kids. So you're talking less than $10 per player to be able to play in this tournament. And we had a DJ, we had a cafe going, like we had all the bells and whistles. We had a barber, we were serving El Toro, which is one of our neighborhood food trucks here, serving their tacos and authentic flavors. And so being able to offer that when you go to a rigid soccer tournament, like, wait a second, where's the disconnect? Why is the value so much more? Why am I getting so much more offered to me for a less dollar amount? And I love the fact that rather than just me citing that and putting together a marketing post or putting together a social post and saying that, I'm actually being able to engage And I'm not bringing it up. It's not like I'm coming in and saying, hey, this is a rebellion. You know that you're getting had. You know, I'm not doing that. Like, you know, because that's not necessarily how I feel either. But it's created a space to where, yeah, what is going on in
Opening
the
their eyes
soccer
a little
world?
bit.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
And it's saying, well, how do you do this? And all those things. And it's the right conversations, you know, and everything that we've created, Jay, and what we've done with the neighborhood. And by the way, if you guys are listening to this, go to the Soccer Journal. Jay has a great article that just came out about the neighborhood. That's fantastic. But it aligns so much with what you and I believe so strongly about how the game needs to change. And I think what you'd be really proud of, and if you were here, what would excite you is just the openness for parents to have these conversations.
Yeah,
you know,
that's amazing.
you know, I mean, think about like how we live in our small world as coaches, you know, and our engagement with
And
parents. Go ahead.
no, you know, when you and I are coaching club and those things, you're not in that. You know, you're on the sideline, you're coaching.
Right.
Parents are on the other sideline. You do your thing, and you kind of go home.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
our
and
priority is what? The development for the players and all those other
yeah,
things, right? So
yeah.
sometimes and parents are in and out. I want to get my kid and do that, and they have a busy world. So
Yeah.
it's not to point blame at anybody. It's just not your job per se consistently. This just gives the downtime and the ability to have those conversations. And it's not me poaching to have the conversation. It's parents coming to me wanting to have these conversations on what we're seeing and you know, what type of training methods are there and all these things. And my biggest message is the game's the best teacher, and us taking that away from the kids is not doing us any justice, because you're learning systems and not necessarily the game as a whole, and how the player wants to play and develop his own game.
Sure, absolutely. If you're just joining us, we're here with Michael Dublis, our good friend from Grand Rapids, Michigan, the founder and creator of the Soccer Rebellion, and he has just opened up a new building as a co-founder called the UnderGround in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So make sure you check them out online. Make sure you stop by if you're anywhere around that area. It's an amazing, unique culture they're creating there with the building. And make sure you like and subscribe our channel. Make sure you check us out. That helps us. And if you're in Grand Rapids, if you've been to the UnderGround, make sure you hit us up in some comments, strike up a conversation. We'd love to hear your feedback, like Mike D just said. And anybody that follows us, both Mike D, the Soccer Neighborhood, the Soccer Rebellion, all the things we do, probably understands our passion for this, this culture. So I think we know your motivation in creating this building. But knowing you as long as I have and having conversations that we have together, I can imagine there were a lot of challenges getting this absolutely to the final stages, opening the front door to the public. So what were your biggest challenges?
Still are. I mean, I am failing and learning every day. Like by all means, I am not a contractor. And the maintenance on this building, we're in an old warehouse, like I said, so that we are handling leaks all the time. We always have to find new solutions. So from a maintenance standpoint, it's been an absolute nightmare. And because we are bringing in a lot of traffic, thankfully, from a cleaning standpoint, you know, that's taking a lot longer than we anticipated. It's just, you know, getting the revenue up and running to get this place running is a challenge, especially when you're trying to make accessibility happen. So you're relying a lot on switching the model, which is sponsorships and things of that nature. But, you know, the other challenges that we've learned to work with is working with the city. You know, there's a lot of ordinance and working with a warehouse, especially when you have different type of organizations around you that rely on heavy machinery like semi trucks coming in, unloading and loading consistently. That has to do with safety in the parking lot. So there's things that we have to adjust. How this building was used prior was for wood manufacturing and painting. So to get all this ADA compliant and accessible was a big ordeal. I mean, all these things that I had no idea about, that I really just failed for a year before we could get this over. Like that was I think the hardest part was that. But, you know, because we have this passion and what we know that this can turn into, and how right it is for this for community and for sport and for the players that I love in this area, there was no quit, you know, and so happy that I didn't. But the ongoing challenges of turning a movement that is about accessibility and equality, there's always going to have a challenge from a capital standpoint. And that's just, you know, it's just what we're up against. And I think this is why what you and I do is so important, because there, you have to find, you have to have the true passion to make this succeed and really want it. Because if you're sitting there trying to count dollars and become rich off this, it's not the case. It's not. That's not why we're in it, to do this. And like, seeing this place full is worth more than, you know, $100,000. Seeing people connect.
That probably makes all those prior months of frustration
100%,
well worth it. Yeah.
100%. And just seeing the smiles on people's face. And to be honest, seeing people actually buy the merch now, because I feel like I've done merch for so long, and that's starting to take off. Like, we do, like, that's where we make some money, and I'm trying to make it cool, but the swoosh isn't cheap, you know? So but people starting to resonate with the movement more and more, and see that. And again, like, the parents now having the conversation and then starting to bring in their kids, and like, what is it going to look like? Like, I guess my biggest thing that I'm super excited for, as much as I'm not excited to get any older, is what is this going to look like in 10 years? You know,
well, that's going to be a question for you. So
you know, what is, you know, like, what is this going to do to a player in 10 years that had a place to develop on their own, that inspired passion, that connected them to community? You know, does that instill passion to take players to another level? You know, like, what does it look like? I mean, and that's not my ultimate goal. My goal isn't to create pros, like, by all means. Like, I'd love it if that's what a kid wants or a player wants. Absolutely. I want them to be able to train here and use this as that. But it's more or less to have the game as something that they belong to, in a community and a culture that supports that.
absolutely, some amazing stuff. And you know, I want to say it on here while we're both on here. Congratulations. I know behind the scenes, I'm not there, but I can tell. And I know some of the things you've told me and posted, that it had to be incredibly frustrating. It's quite an uphill battle to try to get a building like that. Like you said, there's a lot more to it than just painting some cool signs and
100%.
putting some goals out. There's permit, meetings, all kinds of things. And so congrats to you and the Soccer Rebellion crew and everybody, because I do urge everybody out there to check them out. Look on Instagram and social media. The artwork, just the overall vibe is amazing. It's very cool.
Thank you.
And
man.
So absolutely. And I want to skip ahead to what we were going to talk about. You just kind of asked your own question. Let's look down the road. In a perfect world, Mike D, what would you love to see from the Underground several years from now?
Expansion, to have more turf fields. I want versatility in how you can train. Like, I think the terrain's a big part of it. Okay. You know, I think I would love to be able to have a space that can be 11v11. Right now it's 4v4, but I think to really encompass and to be able to provide what we want to provide, I would like to open up the space from that standpoint, from what's going on in here. But from a community standpoint, like, I want this to be, you know, the hub, the center, to where not only are you learning soccer, but you're making friendships, you're connecting with the community, your voice is heard, you as a player, now you want to show up, is being developed. You're watching the game here. It's Grand Rapids Player Center, right? This is where you come. Like, it's like you see in the NBA when they have these superb matchups of, you know, in the off season, these pickup matches that everyone's alluding to. I want to be able to design that and have that here. It's where the community gets to know each other, and the community become a little bit more smarter on what offerings are going around within the city. So I just think, and all that's to say, I just think that it's a place for soccer authentically and organically to live. And players feel safe, and parents feel safe, and anyone that's exploring the sport from youth to adult feel safe to ask questions and see what's really going on, and get a taste for what culture is behind the game, and real culture, not something that's been handed to us, but something that's been created by us. And I mean that in the sense of what Grand Rapids create would be different than if we did this in Columbus, right? Or in New York. I was
going to ask, when you say expansion, I mean other cities, maybe?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think
in Chicago's a world.
Yes, I think so. But I have a baby on the way. My wife would kill me if I said anything like this, because I'm already here, you know, 6 to 11 p.m. on most days. So I mean, the amount of work that I'm doing, but it doesn't feel like work. Like, that's the best part of all this. Like, I thoroughly enjoy creating this and being here and seeing people come in. Like, I mean, yes, there's things that I have to do that are mundane, like empty the trash and clean toilets, which suck. But for the most part, I'm really enjoying doing this creating. It's a lot of bandwidth.
When you do something you're passionate about, it doesn't seem like work. Yeah,
right.
absolutely.
Yeah, and that's totally true. It's just the amount of time it takes me away from my family sucks, and that's true. But my wife's been really good about bringing in my kids and bringing them in here to see it. My wife's not a big fan of this place because of how much, and it is a warehouse. So you do walk out with, a warehouse smell, as she puts it, which
yeah.
I don't know.
That's
I just think it's because I'm sweating all day. I don't know if it's a warehouse smell, or if it's me just working in my BO. I don't know.
That's hard work. That's hard
It's
work.
hard work. That's the smell of hard work.
Hard work and passion. Yep.
That's right.
So we'll get you out of here on this one, Mike D. Last question.
Yeah.
Not necessarily anybody out there that's going to invest in a building or anything of that nature, but sort of in the entrepreneurial world, anyone out there that has something they're very passionate about, like yourself, what advice do you have to them if they're thinking about going out and chasing one of these huge goals, like you did with the Underground?
So I'm not qualified to answer that. Let me say that what
You've experienced it.
I've experienced. Sure, I have my own experience, and
Yeah.
I think entrepreneurs, you just got to be relentless in pursuit, and you got to have a growth mindset and understanding that you're going to fail, and then when you fail, you got to have the stomach to be able to digest it. Take the rejection,
take the punches,
take the punches, and wear those scars, with pride, and understand that, I learned from this, and not be ashamed of all your failures. But I constantly fail every day. And if I don't think I could stomach it, or if, I weren't capable of learning from it, it'd be very easy to quit. It'd be very easy to not keep going, because it's not easy in the sense of how much time you have to put in and how much you have to sacrifice. And so if you're passionate about something, you could be in a position to where it feels like you're creating something, and then you're working. You're not working anymore. You're constantly creating. So it's definitely worth it. But be ready to, because I'll say this too. I mean, I can't shut up. I wish I just had a good answer that I could just stop, but I don't. Yeah. I can't do that. I'm just a motor mouth that just keeps going. But there are burnouts real, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I'm going there with it, but it's real, and you got to be able to recharge your batteries. So like this thought, I think, in your head of, oh, I got to work, 100 something hours a week. Like,
yeah.
Like, it's not realistic. Like we did an all night tournament on Friday. We call that the midnight run on Friday. I was there from 11 a.m. to 6 a.m. the next morning. And then I went home, showered, and came back for an 8:30 lab session that I did with kids. And then I had to coach at 12:30. And then I didn't finally go to bed till 6 p.m. that night. Like it wasn't like the next day I woke up, I was like, oh, I'm good again. No, it was Monday. Like, just today, I'm starting to feel better.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, so there's just, you have to have relentless pursuit, but you also
have
need
to have
to
a little balance.
You have to have some balance. Yeah.
Well, congratulations again. We're here with Michael Dublis from the Soccer Rebellion. They're building in Grand Rapids, Michigan. The Underground has recently opened in the last couple of months, doing some great things for the soccer culture in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I urge you to check them out on social media. If you're anywhere around their area, check them out, stop in. Just an amazing vibe that they're creating for people in their community around the game of soccer. Mike D, as always, love having you on here, man. We'll make sure to put links and everything down here for the Underground. Make sure you check them out. And until next time, straight from the training ground.
Thanks, Jay.